Amid the maelstrom of World War I, a harrowing tale of courage and resilience unfolded in the heart of the Argonne Forest in northeastern France. The Lost Battalion, officially known as the 1st Battalion, 308th Infantry Regiment, 77th Division of the United States Army, etched their names into history through their unwavering determination and sacrifice. In the autumn of 1918, the tide of battle shifted as Allied forces launched the Meuse-Argonne Offensive, a colossal endeavor aimed at breaking the German lines on the Western Front. The 77th Division, comprising enthusiastic and mostly inexperienced soldiers, found themselves thrust into the Argonne Forest. Among them was the 1st Battalion, led by the quiet yet steadfast Major Charles Whittlesey. The Argonne Forest was a labyrinth of gnarled trees, tangled undergrowth, and treacherous terrain. The battalion advanced deeper into the woods, but confusion and disarray soon led them astray from their intended path. It was in this tangled wilderness that the Lost Battalion emerged, cut off from their fellow American forces, encircled by the enemy, and isolated from communication and resupply. Faced with this dire predicament, Major Whittlesey recognized the gravity of their situation. As German forces closed in on all sides, the Lost Battalion found themselves in a life-or-death struggle for survival. The forest, which had initially seemed a mere backdrop to their fight, became their battleground and sanctuary. Major Whittlesey and his men hastily established a defensive line atop a small hill, entrenching themselves with whatever tools they could muster. As the enemy launched wave after wave of attacks, the Lost Battalion clung to their position with unyielding resolve. The thunderous roar of artillery and the crackling of gunfire punctuated the eerie silence of the dense forest. Food supplies quickly dwindled, and the men relied on meager rations and whatever they could forage. Bullets and shells were in short supply as well, forcing the soldiers to use ammunition sparingly. To make matters worse, their attempts to communicate their position to their comrades resulted in tragically inaccurate artillery fire, inflicting friendly fire casualties upon their own ranks. Despite these adversities, Major Whittlesey's leadership and the soldiers' camaraderie kept their spirits from faltering. In a display of sheer audacity, they sent messengers, holding impromptu white flags, into the deadly crossfire in an attempt to establish a dialogue with the German forces. These audacious missions eventually bore fruit, as the Germans surprisingly agreed to a ceasefire, allowing medical supplies to be dropped via airdrops. As negotiations continued, an unlikely semblance of humanity emerged from the horrors of war. German and American soldiers exchanged cigarettes and provisions across the no-man's land, reminding each other of their shared humanity amid the relentless conflict. This respite, however, was fleeting, as the battle-hardened commanders on both sides recognized the fleeting nature of the truce. On October 8, 1918, after nearly a week of isolation, the Lost Battalion's salvation arrived in the form of their fellow soldiers. Elements of the 77th Division, along with French units, finally broke through the German lines and reached the beleaguered battalion. The men, weary, hungry, and battered, were finally free from their forest prison. Of the approximately 554 soldiers who initially found themselves trapped, only about 197 emerged from the Argonne Forest. The rest had been claimed by the brutality of war-wounded, killed, or taken captive. The Lost Battalion's saga became a symbol of courage, sacrifice, and the enduring spirit of those who fought during World War I. Major Whittlesey was awarded the Medal of Honor for his leadership during the ordeal, but his personal struggles continued after the war's end. Tragically, in 1921, he disappeared while on a steamship voyage, leaving behind a legacy of heroism and an enigma that would never be fully unraveled. The story of the Lost Battalion stands as a poignant reminder of the horrors of war and the incredible strength of character that emerges in the face of adversity. Their tale, woven into the fabric of history, echoes across generations as a testament to the resilience of the human spirit.